On March 8, 2022, Matthew Chamberlain, chief executive of the London Metal Exchange, halted nickel trading. The 3-month nickel contract had climbed from $29,000 a ton to over $100,000 in roughly 18 hours. A Chinese steel and nickel magnate named Xiang Guangda, founder of Qingshan Holding Group, sat on a short position large enough to break the exchange. Trades from earlier that morning were canceled. The market stayed closed for over a week. Nickel matters to anyone who designs electronics because nickel is the inner electrode metal inside every modern multilayer ceramic capacitor. A single iPhone contains over 1,000 of these parts. Inside one battery electric vehicle, the count climbs past 10,000. By the time Chamberlain pulled the plug on nickel trading that morning, the global capacitor industry was already 4 years into a supply crisis nobody could solve. What happened in the 9 months that followed reshaped the entire passive components market permanently. The same commodity-grade capacitor that engineers could not source at any price in March became, by October, the part that distributors had warehouses full of and no buyers for. The reason has almost nothing to do with what the trade press said at the time. If you were doing board design or sourcing in 2022, you remember the specific kind of grinding frustration this caused. The Octopart page for a part you had specified 2 years earlier now showed a 14-digit number, where the lead time used to sit. Bill of materials reviews turned into scavenger hunts. Engineering change orders piled up faster than the design team could process them. Swapping a 22 microfarad 1210 part to a smaller package, paralleling 3 lower value parts because those were available, reworking layouts because procurement said the original would not ship until 2024. Email chains with distributors carried the phrase "in allocation" with more weight than any specification on the datasheet. On the procurement side, the year felt like a sequence of stuck phone calls. Murata's commodity book closed to new orders in February. Yageo held its quoted prices firm and continued diverting capacity expansions to higher-grade product lines. Then in late summer, something shifted. A part you had been chasing since November showed up on 3 different distributors at 3 different prices, and the spread between them was 30%. For a small EMS or contract manufacturer, 2022 was the year safety stock policy stopped being theoretical. Inventory positions that would have triggered a procurement review in 2018 suddenly looked conservative. Customer meetings turned into uncomfortable conversations. The design freeze a customer had locked in during 2020 was now costing them $6 per board, and the only alternative was a complete respin. Inside the top 4 manufacturers, Murata, Samsung Electromechanics, Taiyo Yuden, and TDK, 2022 was the year the strategy their executives had been quietly executing since the previous downturn finally became visible from outside. The strategy was simple, execution took patience. By December, the result was permanent. That strategy is the actual subject. The shortage itself is not, neither is the nickel spike. What actually happened is the deliberate, multi-year decision by the firms that make roughly 90% of the world's capacitors to walk away from the part of the market that engineers were screaming for. They executed that decision during the worst capacitor shortage in industry history, when every customer they had was demanding they build more. To understand what changed in 2022, look at the numbers from the period just before. The global ceramic capacitor market reached roughly $10.9 billion in 2022, with multi-layer ceramic capacitors making up more than 90% of that figure. Production volumes were measured in trillions of pieces per year. The combined annual output of the industry sat above 4 trillion units. Across a single year, that is roughly 500 capacitors produced for every person alive on the planet. 4 manufacturers controlled close to 70% of global production. Murata Manufacturing of Japan held just over 30% on its own. Samsung Electromechanics of South Korea held close to 20%. Taiyo Yuden, also of Japan, was somewhere between 13 and 15. Yageo of Taiwan, which had absorbed the American firm Kimmit in a 2020 acquisition, held a similar share. Behind the top 4 sat a second tier of producers, TDK, Kyo, Sei, Ra AVX, Walsin Technology, and a growing band of Chinese firms led by Fenghua Advanced and Chaozhou 3 Circle. Below them, in the long tail, were dozens of regional and specialty makers. The component itself looks unimpressive, a standard 0402 multilayer ceramic capacitor, measures 1 millimeter long and half a millimeter wide. It costs the buyer less than half a cent. Stripped of its protective coating, the part is a stack of alternating layers of nickel and ceramic dielectric, fired at high temperature and terminated with a thin film of metal. A modern smartphone contains more than 1,000 of these. The 2022 Tesla Model 3 contained over 9,000. High-end server racks contained tens of thousands. Each 5G base station required hundreds of thousands. This is where most coverage of the capacitor industry stops. The world needs more of them. Demand grows at double digits, so the makers must build more. Through 2017, 2018, and 2019, this is exactly what they appeared to do. Capacity rose roughly 10% per year at Murata. Samsung Electromechanics added new lines in Busan. Taiyo Yuden broke ground on a new building at its Niigata production base. From outside, the industry looked like a textbook response to a textbook shortage. From inside, the executives running these firms were planning the exact opposite of what their announcements suggested. The economic model of the capacitor industry has a structure most outsiders find counterintuitive. A 0402 part selling for half a cent is not a low-margin product because it is cheap. It is a low-margin product because the customer has been pushing the price down for 40 years, and because the manufacturer has been able to absorb that pressure by building larger fabs that produce more units at marginally lower cost. The fabs are not cheap. A single new multi-layer ceramic capacitor production line with the ceramic tape casters, the stack laminators, the firing furnaces, and the termination equipment can run several $100 million in capital expenditure. Equipment lead times for the key machinery cite between 8 and 12 months. Process knowledge. How to mix the ceramic slurry, how to fire without delamination, how to hit the dielectric tolerance, is locked inside the heads of process engineers at 4 or 5 Japanese firms. This was the basic economic shape of the industry in 2017, when the previous shortage began. Margins on commodity 0402 and 0603 parts were under 5% at the gross level. The same calculation on automotive-grade AECQ 200 parts ran 3 to 5 times higher. At the largest high-capacitance sizes, 22 microfarad and above in the 1210 case, margins ran higher still. The manufacturers had a clear view of where the money was and where it was not. What they also had was a clear memory. The previous capacity boom in 1999 and 2000 had ended in the dot-com crash. Inventories had ballooned. Prices had collapsed by more than 60% across most product lines. Murata, TDK, and Taiyo Yuden had all taken substantial losses in fiscal year 2001. The lesson of that downturn was specific and was passed down inside the firms as an article of strategic faith. Building commodity capacity to chase a shortage was the mistake. The correct move was to build specialty capacity that locked in the next decade of premium margin business. The common explanation for what happened to capacitors in 2022 is straightforward. Consumer demand collapsed after the pandemic. Smartphone shipments dropped roughly 11%. Personal computers fell 16%. Inventory accumulated. The shortage broke. Lead times normalized. The market moved on. This account is not wrong. It is just shallow enough to miss the actual story. The deeper structural cause sits one layer below. Through 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, every public announcement from Murata, Samsung Electromechanics, and Taiyo Yuden about new capacity investment was technically true but tactically misleading. The new lines they were building were not for the commodity 0402 and 0603 parts that were in shortage. Instead, The capex was flowing to automotive-grade AEC-Q 200 parts, to high-capacitance 1210 parts, and to the specialty product families that served electric vehicles and data centers. The shortage was real. So was the customer demand. The manufacturers were quietly, methodically refusing to address the part of the market that was screaming loudest. This is visible in the capex allocation data. Tsuneo Murata, then chief executive of Murata Manufacturing, told analysts on a 2018 earnings call that the firm would add capacity at roughly 10% per year, but that almost all of that capacity would be directed at high-performance segments. He said the same thing in 2019. The 2020 earnings calls repeated the message. By 2022, the cumulative effect of 4 years of capex skewed toward automotive and high-capacitance products was that the company's manufacturing mix had quietly inverted. The commodity book that distributors had been begging Murata to expand had instead been allowed to shrink as a share of total production. Samsung Electromechanics did the same thing through its Busan and Tianjin expansions. At Niigata, TYOU-den followed an identical path, building a new facility, Building Number 4, that was tooled specifically for high reliability and high capacitance parts. TDK oriented its capex toward the automotive sensor and capacitor portfolio. Every public capacity announcement was technically a response to the shortage. None of them addressed the parts that were actually short. There is a reason this strategy worked. The customers complaining loudest about shortages were also the customers with the least leverage. A smartphone maker buying 10 million 0402 capacitors a month at half a cent each represents $50,000 of monthly revenue per part number. By contrast, a single Tier 1 automotive supplier buying 500,000 AEC-Q 200 parts a month at 3 cents each represents $15,000. But with a multi-year contract, a hard floor on pricing, and a customer who simply will not switch suppliers because the qualification cycle is 2 years, the math favors the auto customer. When consumer demand softened in mid-2022, the commodity book had nowhere to go. Inventories accumulated quickly because production capacity for those parts had been quietly compressed relative to historical trend. Distributors held safety stock that was suddenly excess. Spot prices on commodity parts dropped 30 to 40% in a single quarter. Lead times on AEC-Q 200 and high capacitance parts barely moved. They stayed at 24 to 26 weeks through the second half of the year. The bifurcation that everyone in the industry now takes for granted was visible for the first time in 2022, but the work that produced it had been done over the 4 years prior. The shortage provided the cover. Strategy was the substance. The 2022 timeline played out in distinct phases that anyone with a procurement seat at the time can still recite. January opened with the shortage at full bore. Commodity 0402 and 0603 lead times sat at 24 weeks and longer. Distributors were running internal allocation models that had been put in place in 2018 and never turned off. Murata closed its commodity order book to new customers in February. Then on March 8th, the London Metal Exchange suspended nickel trading. Nickel electrode multi-layer ceramic capacitors became dramatically more expensive to produce overnight. Palladium, used in older noble metal electrode parts, swung wildly the same week. Pricing on the smaller specialty product lines briefly disappeared from quotation systems entirely. April and May looked from the outside like more of the same. Lead times remained long, and spot premiums stayed elevated. Underneath the surface, the order books at major customers had begun changing shape. Smartphone makers in Shenzhen and Vietnam were quietly cutting forecasts. In the PC sector, manufacturers holding excess finished goods from the pandemic surge began canceling component pulls. Tablet shipments ran below plan in every major region. The signal had not yet reached the capacitor distributors because the safety stock in the channel was masking it. But the demand was no longer there. The signal arrived in early summer. Yageo's second quarter earnings call in late July was the first major manufacturer event to acknowledge an inventory adjustment was underway. The company's chairman, Pierre Chen, told analysts that customer pull rates had decelerated and that channel inventory was elevated. Within 2 weeks, spot prices on commodity multilayer ceramic capacitors began dropping. By August, the same 0402 parts that had carried 30% premiums in January were trading at flat list price. Distributors were quoting commodity parts at discounts before the end of the third quarter. The fourth quarter was the inventory correction made visible. Spot prices on consumer-grade parts dropped 30 to 40% from their first quarter peaks. Murata cut utilization across its commodity lines. In Busan, Samsung Electro-Mechanics announced equivalent reductions. TOUDEN moderated production at its older facilities while continuing to ramp the new high-capacitance building at Niigata. Yagayo issued formal production cut guidance in early November. TDK followed in December. Through all of this, lead times on AECQ 200 automotive parts and high-capacitance 1210 parts did not meaningfully move. They sat at 24 to 26 weeks in January, and they sat at 24 to 26 weeks in December. The two halves of the capacitor market had split, and the split was not closing. The bifurcation that hardened in 2022 has not closed. Walk through a distributor catalog in 2026 and the gap is everywhere. A standard 0402 10 microfarad X5R part is in stock at 4 cents and ships the same day. The equivalent AECQ 200 automotive qualified part in a 1210 case sits at 26 weeks of lead time and a unit price 3 times higher. Both parts do roughly the same job in different applications. The pricing tells you which application the manufacturer wants to serve. The Japanese top tier has not returned to general-purpose commodity production at any meaningful scale. Murata, TOUDEN, and TDK have spent the years since 2022 building capacity for the segments they identified in 2018: automotive, high capacitance, and high reliability. Samsung Electro-Mechanics has followed the same path. The commodity segment those firms used to dominate is now mostly served by Chinese producers. Fenghua, Advanced Technology, and Chaozhou 3 Circle, along with a growing roster of smaller Chinese makers, have absorbed the volume the Japanese firms gave up. The Chinese makers are not yet competitive on the highest grade automotive parts. They have a decade of process refinement to catch up on. On commodity 0402 and 0603 parts, however, they are now the primary global supplier. The engineers who lived through 2022 carry the memory differently, depending on which side of the bifurcation they sat on. Procurement managers at consumer electronics OEMs remember it as the year their job changed. For design engineers at automotive Tier 1 suppliers, it was the year their qualification work paid off. Distributor field application engineers remember it as the year that allocation phone calls became inventory phone calls inside a single quarter. The lesson the industry took from 2022 is the one the manufacturers had been teaching since 2018, even if nobody on the customer side was reading it correctly at the time. A shortage is not always a supply problem. Sometimes a shortage is a transition that the suppliers have already decided to make, and the customer is the last party in the chain to figure out that the decision has already been made. The 0402 multilayer ceramic capacitor is 1 millimeter long and 0.5 millimeter wide. Picked off a reel by a placement machine running at 200,000 parts per hour, the component is invisible to the human eye in motion. 10,000 of them fit on a single 7-inch tape and reel. The reel sits in a cabinet in a warehouse outside Penang, or Suzhou, waiting for an order that the manufacturer has already decided will eventually stop coming. If you build anything electronic for a living, subscribe and stay for the rest.